How you prepare for a golf tournament?
Well, I hit balls maybe 20 minutes, putt a little bit, smoke 4 or 5 cigarettes, drink 3 Diet Cokes, and go to the first tee. Some days I won't even go to the range.
Well, we find you. Where do we find you? It's a Friday, September 6th, the Daily Puck Drop, the DPD. You're outside. You're going somewhere. Where are you going?
Well, I'm heading to Pullman. And so I was trying to figure out, because we record at 8:30, I was trying to figure out, okay, where can I get a good signal? Because I know how uptight you get when we don't have a good signal. And so I'm always trying to please you. So I found a good spot. I'm at Juniper Hills Park, just outside of Madras, Oregon. I'm about an hour from Bend, and I'm about 5 hours from Pullman, where I'm headed over for the Texas Tech game, because I don't have excuses like you. I mean, you're going to watch your kid play instead of the Cougs in one of the most important games we've ever had. And the Inter Bay Eagles, is that really that important of a game?
Well, it's the week 1. Inter Bay Eagles are taking on Everett. I don't even know what Everett's mascot is. It's
okay. I'm
going Inter Bay, and I'm taking Inter Bay minus 3.5. So,
okay, you think Inter Bay's favored?
Oh well, they've got I don't know if he's going to start. I think he'll play, but they've got number 7, the vampire, playing quarterback. Yeah, I mean, even though he couldn't execute a handoff yesterday.
He'll be good. Are you guys playing at home?
We are. Yes, we're playing at the field that is like 5 blocks from my house. Thank God.
Oh, okay.
So as an assistant coach, can I tailgate, you think, for one of these junior football games? Or?
Yeah, I think it's anything goes. I mean, I don't know. How often, what do you have to show up an hour early for the game? Or
I don't know. It's my first year helping these guys out, Coach. Yeah, probably an hour before. I don't really do much, Jim. I hold the tackling bags for them to hit.
Oh,
I don't do much.
All right.
Well,
I bet you're pretty good at it.
I'm there to be like motivational guy, all that kind of stuff.
Cheering them up and
cheering them on.
Talking and
yeah. Hey, what do you think of this new hat? Look at this new Rainier's hat that was sent to me.
I was just going to go there, and it had nothing to do with the Inter Bay Eagles, and you and I are on the same wavelength sometimes. That's a nice hat.
That was sent to me from Kyle from the Tacoma Rainiers.
God,
that is their new Cougar hat. Cougar themed Tacoma Rainiers hat. It's a little big, but I got the wrong size. But it's a little bit. Isn't that good? How are the dogs doing? Are they running around and getting into people's business?
They're chasing a guy on a cart right now. Can you see that?
I see that. I mean, do you think the guy? I would ask.
Hey, River, come here. River.
Do you think the guy in the cart likes him? Why? Why is he in a cart? Are you at a golf course?
No, I'm at there's like 3 diamonds right here. There's one right here, one back here.
What is he doing in a cart? What is the guy doing?
He's doing maintenance stuff.
Well, I'm sure he's happy that some dog is, hunting him down. Hey, you want to move in Bend, maybe it's not worth it, but Madras, I bet, is a little bit more affordable than Bend, Oregon.
Madras is a lot more affordable than Bend, Oregon, and so
maybe
is
look into
Oregon.
Yeah, so look into that.
The problem I have, my wife likes Bend. She doesn't want to leave Bend, and I'm saying, honey, we're on a fixed income now.
Yeah.
Tighter budget. We can't afford what we used to be able to afford, which wasn't all that much anyway.
Right.
But she doesn't want to come to Madras. I would come to Madras in a heartbeat because I want some elbow room. I want to look out at some pine trees. I don't want to look at my guy right next door. So anyway, it's beautiful out here, though.
All right, it's the Daily Puck Drop. It's a Friday edition, September 6th. Jim is in Madras, Oregon. I'm, of course, in the Puck Sports Studios built by Limback Lumber. Contractors, they got free deliveries from everything from the whole house package. That's the whole kit and caboodle. All the wood you need to build a house, to homeowner DIY projects, and have the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call at 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. When we start doing the show live on Monday, you're going to see a brand new sign that they had made. And I'm not going to show it to you yet. I haven't put it up yet because I'm going to rearrange some things. It was built by the father of Washington State quarterback Gary Rogers.
Really?
Yeah. And
I
who?
mean, Gary Rogers he was tall in the pocket. I remember
Yeah,
that.
good. Yeah, big. Like
What high
looked
school
the
was he
part.
again?
I want to say Kamiak.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So
His
his
career wasn't
father.
exactly what we were thinking it was going to be, though, right?
Yeah, I think he. I want it. No, you're right, and I think he battled some injuries too. But so his father has a relationship with the guys at Limback Lumber, and then built this sign, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Cool.
to put it up. It's so nice.
That's great.
It's so nice. So, and his name is Gary Rogers. So, thank you to Gary Rogers, the father, who is the father of Gary Rogers, the former Washington State quarterback. Well,
Hey,
I
wait.
haven't seen.
Before we get to
Oh,
Dipoto, can we explain?
Jesus.
I know that we're burying the lead. I get it. I know,
Okay.
but can we
What?
explain why you're going live? I liked your second reason better than your first. I don't know if you can say that
I
publicly or
think
not.
that was just a private me and you just
Well, I
talking
never
more than
know
I'd
with
like.
you.
Yeah,
It
that's
seems like nothing's private.
we are we've mentioned it before. We'll just talk. Yeah, I guess you can never promote it enough. We're going to give it a try. We're going to take the show live starting at 10 a.m. on Monday. I wanted to start when football season started. This was kind of always the thought process for me at least. That when I left, when we left the radio show, well, you were pushed out. I left on my own.
Not pushed. I was like
You were,
to the curb,
hey,
shoved.
weren't you in Madras when it happened?
I was.
So
Yeah.
Madras has got a special memory
Oh,
and
guys, just
feeling.
deep in my heart.
Oh,
I think of Rich Moore every time I'm
hey,
here.
Rich. Hey, Mark. Oh, I'm fired. Okay.
No, it was your position has been eliminated.
Eliminate.
Oh,
Why
geez.
can't?
What
Can
does
I just
that
ask
mean?
something?
Oh,
Why can't we just say you're fired? What? Why can't we just say that? Like when the Seahawks fired Pete Carroll, why can't they just come out and say we fired Pete Carroll? Why do they have to say, we've mutually agreed to part ways and he has some position in the org? He has no position in the organization. He's got nothing to do with the organization.
yeah.
Zero.
No, you're right. And they gave him that advisory role that we knew was just a bogus title. It's another thing I learned back at Washington State. I had a professor. Why can't we just say someone died? Somebody died. He didn't really. He didn't pass away. We always say he passed away because it
Oh,
sounds nicer, I
I
guess. I
guess
don't
so.
know.
Yeah.
It's okay
Yeah.
to say that. I mean, we're going to die. A person dies. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Jim was fired. They
I
didn't.
was.
They didn't eliminate your position. They fired you from your position.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They
So
did.
it just, I had just thought that, hey, because there is, as we are, I hope everybody knows we are recording this earlier. I love doing this the way we have been doing it. I enjoy it very much, and I'll be honest with you, if we go live and it doesn't work or it's hard to get the guests on because of the platform, then I'll readjust and we'll go back to doing it recording. Because I like this. I do like this format. And nothing's going to change when we're going live. Like,
Well, no, and I know we're recording right now, but it still seems live to me
yeah, it does. I mean, but
because it is live with you and me right now.
true. There is I think there is at least for me, I've always thought of what we do is like performance art. And I know that sounds stupid, but that's how I've always treated it. I've always thought of like when we did the radio show, at least for me, in the 20 plus years I did it, I always equaled it to or compared it to doing like Broadway because it's performing every day and it's new every day. And there's just something new, and song and dance and da 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 da.
Hey, I got to
But
tell you, Puck, I've never thought of it like that.
Well, I do. I look at it as I've always thought of it as you're performing because you're trying to entertain people. My long-winded point is there's an energy to doing it live. There's just an energy to it that is a little bit different than when you record. And there's a part of me that misses that element. And the other thing is nobody else is doing this. That's the other thing is nobody else is doing this type of live feature. Everything's going to be podcasted later, just like we did in radio. Everything will be available, hopefully at 1:00. And so for those who miss it, can go back and watch and listen to it. But I do want to just kind of do it live, and I just think it's I think it's good. I think it's fun. And so we'll do it live starting at 10 a.m. Jim and I will be, Jim's going to be on 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He'll be on for a half an hour. It's going to go longer. I just know it will. But then on Tuesday and Thursdays will just be me. But then there'll be guests that are coming on, like on Monday. You and me are going for a half an hour. At least that's what I put down in the notes. And then Curtis Crabtree, Fox 13. And then there's somebody. Is the lawnmower guy going to be on the show Monday, or can we get him on? What is this guy doing? Yeah. What do you think that guy in the lawnmower or whatever that is thinks of you? Like right now, your dogs are running around everywhere, and is he doing a podcast over there?
I don't know. No, you know what? Getting back to the doing it live.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Did you have a point that you were getting to, or?
I think eventually I was going to get to a point.
Okay.
So then half an hour on Monday, you and me, and then around 10:30-ish, then Curtis Crabtree, Fox 13, Tim Booth, Associated Press, who, again, those guys do a great job covering the Seahawks, will join us. And then they'll, about 30, 40 minutes, we'll break down the Seahawks. It's our Seahawks
really
roundtable.
That great, or are they just good? And
I'm saying they're good, but because I was desperate, I needed to find somebody, and those two were available.
Okay.
And I
love Curtis and Tim. That's why I'm ripping them.
Yeah, I know. And that's all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery. God, Georgetown. Manny, Roger, Matt, thank you. These guys don't dip their toes in the advertising world. In fact, they never do. And they did this time, and they did with me. And I will be indebted to them forever. And I said this yesterday on X about all the sponsors, because yesterday's Daily Puck Drop was the 300th. And I just said that for the sponsors that came aboard and all the guests, I will be forever grateful and indebted to everyone. And as much as I can say thank you, it will never be enough. It never will be enough. So I'm indebted to those guys. But
well, you know why? Let me interrupt you. And,
sure.
and you're probably used to me interrupting, because you're a good guy, man. You're a good fucking
I appreciate
guy.
that.
I mean, we all love you, and we want you to succeed. I think
want you to
I'm not
succeed.
alone. Like Georgetown, Limback Lumber, all these people. I mean, Georgetown's been with you and Ian for a long, long time.
That's
right. Aren't they Huskies? Yeah. Aren't these guys Husky fans?
They are. Manny and Roger, devout Huskies. They love themselves at the University of Washington. They're great guys, and so for them to be a part of that, they're also a part of the Puck the Huskies podcast. They'll be sponsoring Danny Kelly, or at least the Danny Kelly segment from The Ringer. So I'm just happy those guys are on board. But then on Monday, then we'll have that, and then as the baseball season is winding down, at a little after 11 o'clock, Jim Duquette will come on. I haven't talked to Duquette for a while. That's Monday's show. Tuesday's show will just be me. Rob Staten will be on Tuesdays. John Canzano, Bill Kruger. As the baseball season wraps up, Wednesday, you and me are back together. Then it's Divish. Then Danny Kelly from The Ringer talking NFL storylines and fantasy football. Thursdays, just me again, but with Mike Garofalo and Brad Adam. As Brad will wrap up the baseball season. And then Fridays, you and me. And then Troy Wins is back. Our handicapper is back to talk a little betting. And then, of course, Chris Egan, as he did so many years on the radio, will wrap up our Fridays coming up starting next week. So I like the live element of it. I'll be honest with you. And I've said this before. If it doesn't work, or if it's not as what I wanted, then I'll adjust and move on. But it will be live on X. We've done this before. It'll be live on YouTube. I'm sure there are going to be some hiccups. I can guarantee it, because I'm an idiot. And then also, hopefully, I don't know if it'll be ready by Monday, but it will be ready very soon, is that we have an app that is being built, almost completed, that will allow you to, on your phone, just like the iHeartRadio app or any app that you would listen to live radio, listen to it on the move, on the go. And also an Apple CarPlay. So if you have that in your car, you'll be able to listen to it live. So, and again, there's no one doing that. No one has an app where you can listen live. And that will be a game changer. So I think there's a desire for people to hear us live at 10 a.m. because they were accustomed to it for 3 years.
Well, Puck, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, and I'll just speak for myself here, but I like that you're going 10 o'clock and you're going head to head with the old time slot that we were in. And I'm not a competitive person unless I get fucked and then I get pissed off. I told you on the phone the other day, I'm an easygoing guy. I try and get along with people. And then when I get screwed, then I turn into a different person. I'm like a football player between the lines, and I don't want the 10-1 show at KJR to do well. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't want our replacements to do well unless I know them. Like I know.
Well, what
Greg,
if you hold on? What if you know them? Then that's
if I know
change.
them, then I'm going to be torn.
Yeah.
Like I know Greg Bell, and I don't root against Greg Bell. I know that he's interim, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do permanently there. And so I'm really like, there's people that I'm rooting for that I want to get that 10-1 job at KJR. But if they don't, that might be even better for my own purposes because I want to root like mad against them. And I'm sorry if that makes me a bad person, but I think it's fair to be bitter about someone who fired you.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't
don't
want
think
the
there's anything
10-1
wrong
show
with
to do well there, and I like the fact that you are doing this thing at 10, and it might somehow impact that. And if they didn't think it was going to impact that, they wouldn't have held me to this 3-month severance deal where I couldn't do anything. So they certainly consider you a competing deal. Now, Bump and Stacy on 710, I mean, I like them. I'm not rooting against them, but anyway,
I will say this. I say this honestly. I don't wish any ill will to anyone that takes over that slot. And especially if I know the person or the people that will take over.
No, I know. Well, you're nicer than me.
That will take over, then I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to hope they fail. And listen, I know things behind the scenes of what direction they're going to go in. It's not my place to say. I'm not going to say it, but I'm not going to root against them. I'm not going to do it. But
no,
I'm not old and bitter and on the side of a street in Madras. So.
No, and if the people that you told me about that you're talking about, I won't root against them either. But if they're people from out of town, then
if it's out of town, then I don't care. If I've never met the person, then I hope it drops in a pit of hell.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Fair. That's fair.
Yes. Yes.
But if we know them and we've worked with them or crossed paths with them and we like them, then I won't root against them. But no, I'm not sitting here hoping that. Man, I hope that 10-1 show does well at KJR. Go, guys, go get them.
Do you know who I heard that it might be?
What's that?
You know who there's a rumor who it might be.
I didn't think you were going to name names. You said it wasn't your place to do that, but go ahead.
Screw it.
Go ahead.
Jerry Dipoto.
Jerry Dipoto. It's going to be the Jerry Dipoto show?
The Jerry Dipoto show. Hosted by Tonto.
Is 3 hours long enough for him to spew his bullshit?
You know what? Yeah. No, probably not. He's going to probably need more time to spew the utter BS that he's been. Unbelievable. I haven't seen the $100 yet.
No, I'll get on that. By the way, thank you to the listeners and viewers of your podcast that sent me $43.01. After you.
Oh, was that $43 total, or did somebody send you $43.01? That was
no.
total.
There were like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
One guy sent me 20, which was really nice. Moving expenses because we're moving. I
say we just keep doing it. What's the Venmo again? Just do it. Why not? I think this is funny.
Jim-Moore-106.
Jim-Moore-106.
Yeah, and I'll give you a personalized thank you and everything.
Hold on. I'll put it up here on the screen.
Yeah. $43.01. Andrew Matson gave
Venmo.
Andrew,
what is it?
Andrew Matson donated a penny.
Jim-what?
I don't know, Jim-Moore-106.
-106. Okay, there it is, up on the screen.
$43.01. I mean, your viewers and listeners are nice.
Do you see it up on the screen
they
now,
don't get
Jim?
bitter like me when they get fired. They're nice.
Do you see it on the screen now, Jim-Moore-106?
I can't. No, I can't
Can
see
you
it
not?
on the
Oh, you
screen.
can't see it. Oh, so maybe maybe on how you're recording, maybe how you view it, you can't see it. On the bottom where it says your name, there's underneath it is your Venmo account.
Oh, okay, great.
So
Thank
good.
you.
Jim
Appreciate that.
Dashmore 106.
Yeah.
Well, I did I always ask you, do you want to hear from Ryan Divish? You don't. We did an emergency show last night with Ryan Divish. He was from an airport lounge, I think, drinking as he was flying back to Seattle. It doesn't surprise me they brought him back.
You had inside information on that.
I did not.
You did. Like, you didn't have inside information on the Geno Smith bet with Drew Lock. I mean, you weren't the idiot. You weren't the idiot who thought Hendon Hooker would be drafted in the first round. But I don't know. I've got this sneaky.
Keep your money.
I've got a feeling that you had an idea that Jerry was going to stay. No, I'm gonna give you the $100. You already gave me 50, and then 43 from the listeners. I'm thinking that I'm out $7, so that's okay. But no, honest to God, Puck, I think anybody in my shoes would have thought it was a good bet too. I thought even for the Mariners, the tone deaf organization that they are, I figured that, okay, this would be a breaking point for even them where they could see that, and I listened to your podcast with Divish coming between Bend and Madras. It was perfect. It killed the time this morning, and you guys were great. But even if you want to talk about the farm system that he built up, the pitching staff and everything else, you made the most pertinent point of all. One playoff appearance in 9 years. I mean, come on.
It's ridiculous, but it tells you what a joke of an organization they are.
Yeah, but what other city or organization in MLB or NFL or
nobody?
What the hell is the soccer thing called? NASL or
MLS? That's the. You don't have to reference the MLS. No one gives a shit about the MLS that's watching this.
No, I mean, it wouldn't happen elsewhere. I don't even think
nowhere.
Who's the most God, I can't even talk. Cost-conscious team in MLB?
I thought you were going to say cock-conscious. Excuse me.
I don't know why I had a hard time saying that. Cost-conscious team.
Okay,
Tampa Bay? Even Tampa Bay would have gotten rid of their GM.
Everybody would have. No organization that is serious about winning would keep a guy for a 10th year with one playoff appearance. No one. And I want to stop hearing about can we finally just fucking stop talking about the rebuild? Please? Yeah. And stop talking about how great success it was. And can we please stop? They won playoff appearance. Your goal is to win. And then somebody's arguing with me today. It's not really just 9 years. It's 3 years because that's when the start of the rebuild. He doesn't get credit for that. He doesn't get credit because he punted on his own idea when he first took over of how he wanted to win. That's the thing about him. And that's what you and I've always tried to push the moving of the goalpost. He changes it every year to satisfy himself and to satisfy the people that employ him so he can keep his job. It's always changing. There was no talk of rebuild when he took over because he had pieces there and he's going to win with it. And then when he realized with those pieces he couldn't win with it, he's like, oh, no, we got to tear it down. Now remember, it wasn't a rebuild. He never said rebuild. He never said that word. We people in this market, people here say it. He said reimagine. We're going to reimagine the roster. He would never say rebuild because it wasn't a tear down. It wasn't Houston. It wasn't any one of those teams. They piecemealed it together to stay. You know why they piecemealed it together, Jim? Because they wanted to stay around 81, 82, 83, 84, 85 wins because people come to the ballpark so they can drop hot dogs from the fucking sky and we lap it up. And they
isn't there a part of you that kind of likes that, though?
The hot dog thing? I do like a good hot dog.
Come on. I know if you were under those hot dogs, you'd be like scrambling trying to get one.
Look at me, of course. I mean, do the hot dogs come with the condiments on it?
No, I like them just plain.
Yeah. Really? What kind of, hold on. Oh, stop. What kind of psychopath likes a hot dog plain?
Well, at least I'm not putting ketchup on it. That's worse than having it plain, isn't it?
I don't know, man.
No, when I get a Costco hot dog, I don't put anything.
Nothing. You just like the dog.
Yeah, but the bun has to be it can't be dry. But if it can't be moist, but if it's in between dry and moist,
Okay.
then I'm into it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking about it, and tell me if this is a good analogy or not. It probably isn't. But okay, so like we all acknowledge that Jerry's done a great job with the starters. I mean, they've got the best rotation in baseball. I think we can all agree on that. But I was just thinking about, and this just came to me a few minutes ago while I was, watching the dogs chase the guys in the cart. The '92 Seahawks. I can't even remember who the coach was or who the general manager was. But would you? That defense was top notch that year, but the offense was like probably the worst offense in the league. But did the GM or president of the team at that time, did he go to his owner and say, "Hey, I should get another year. I know we went 2-14, but I should get another year because look at this defense that I have and what I'm building there. And yeah, we're going to get some more pieces for that offense." I mean, you can't just give him credit and not.
That's what I don't get. That's what I don't understand.
It's the whole team. It's not. Yes, he did a great job with the pitching, and yes, the farm system has been built up, and yeah, you can put check marks in the positive category for Jerry Dipoto, but there's more negatives. Plus, he's a dick. The guy's a dick. Come on. I don't know. If there's a tiebreaker, good guy or dick, well, then, you go with there's been talk about that all the time. Everybody talks about toxic, environment with the Mariners. He doesn't get along well with others. I don't know. And the players, it gets around. You've talked about it with Duquette. And
he has a reputation of not being well liked around baseball.
You're already fighting with position players. You're already fighting it's a pitcher's park.
Yep.
The location. And then you've got a general manager and you've got a history of not being a winner. You've got about 4 or 5 things that going against you to bring players here. So why would you keep a guy like that?
Because they are comfortable in mediocrity. They're comfortable in average.
Okay, well, go get another. Okay, well, I don't know what they're paying Jerry.
Why.
If you want to call him cheap too, whatever they're paying Jerry. What do you think they're paying Jerry? $5 million, $10 million?
No. They are a cheap organization when it comes to this
what's
stuff.
An average GM get?
Jim, I really don't know, but I'm going to tell you, whatever it is, it's on the low end.
You think so?
Yes, they do not pay. People leave the organization because they don't pay. They do not pay. They are a notoriously cheap franchise when it comes to paying their employees.
Okay, let's say you fire Jerry and go get somebody else, and he turns out to be mediocre too. Well, let's find out. I mean, we already know about mediocre Jerry, so let's try some of the mediocre John or whatever, and maybe that mediocre John guy might end up being fantastic. Or I'd rather have the next guy be fantastic or terrible, but not just this in between thing that Jerry has going. I don't know. As far as curious moves go by sports organizations, this one's way up there, isn't it?
I'm just looking at this now. You have me intrigued about what GMs make. I came across an article.
We don't really hear that. We don't
hear
hear that very often. We hear what coaches make, but not GMs.
Hold on. I don't want to subscribe to this.
If they had even said we're going to get rid of Jerry but keep Tonto, I would have been okay with that.
At least Tonto doesn't embarrass himself in the press. Dayton Moore, I think this is from 2023. I think he still is the GM, right? They say this article from Money Inc. has Dayton Moore at 1.5 a year. He's the 5th highest paid. The GM for the Cardinals is around 2. I don't think that's
2 is all.
Yeah, the top one is Cashman at 5, according to this. I'm telling you, they don't. I don't. That's still good money, but whatever that mark is, he doesn't make that much. I guarantee it. Well, they don't pay their people.
You gotta hand it to him though, don't you? I mean, you gotta hand it to him because I wish I could have been in that closed door meeting with Stanton and Larson and whoever else, from the ownership group was there, and how he somehow convinced them. It's almost like,
It's easy. I can just tell you how they did it. It's just easy. He got in there and he goes, look at all the cost-controlled pitchers we have, even though they're all going to go up. That's the thing. That's the thing. This year of free agency is going to be a disaster. They're not going to sign anybody. I mean, Logan Gilbert's going to jump from $4 million to $9 million in arbitration. George Kirby's going to jump from making nothing to about $4 million. Cal Raleigh's going to go from $780,000 to probably 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know, 8 million. The guy plays every day.
I know, but Puck, think about that for a second. And you're right. You're right. They're going to look at that and go, "Oh my God, we got to pay." Those guys are underpaid at those numbers you're saying.
I know they
Gilbert's
are.
a $20 million a year player. Cal Raleigh, the same thing.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not going to spend. But he's going to say, listen, we're going to have those guys on the cheap.
You're getting Cal Raleigh for $4 million next year?
I think it could be more than $4 million, maybe 6, 7, 8. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what he's going to get in arbitration.
Sign me up for that.
I agree with you, but I'm just, but Jim, with all these guys in cost controlled, now I can't talk, contracts this past year, what did they do this past offseason?
Yeah, they unloaded guys.
They unloaded salary.
Yeah.
So they're going to try and see, and this is what I brought this up with the division. This is what scares me the most about bringing him back. Okay, so you bring him back for 25. There is no way he's coming back for 1 year, by the way. So it's going to be a multi-year extension. So it's 25 plus an option, or it's 2 years and an option. Because you'd be an idiot. And I'm sure they've made plenty of idiotic moves. You don't bring back a president of your baseball team on a 1 year prove it deal. That gives him no security. So he's going to come back at least 2 years, at least a 2 year deal. Doesn't mean he's got to be here for 2 years. But what it does, if you say to him, you got to prove it this next season, does he get desperate? And desperate people make desperate moves. Bill Bavasi made a desperate move to keep his job and traded away the farm for Eric Bedard. And that was an example that Divish brought up yesterday. And so can he not trade? Okay, Castillo makes sense because he's making so much money, but you're not going to get a bunch of prospects back for him because you're asking the team to take on the $72 million. You're not going to get anybody great, but you will get somebody great for Logan Gilbert. And you start trading away some of these young pitchers because he's desperate to find bats because no free agent bat will sign here. It just will not happen. Then you kill yourself. And then he's going to go in there, and I bet he went in there and talked about all this young another wave of talent's coming. It's coming. First of all, it's not coming. It's not here next year. Cole Young's not here next year. Emerson's not here next year. Laz Montez not here next year. Where would let me ask you if you think Harry Ford's going to be here next year. Where does he play? He's a catcher.
Yeah.
So this next wave isn't coming next year, but I bet you sold it on him.
You know what, though, Puck? I'll give Dipoto the benefit of the doubt on that one because you could say the urgency was there this year, being in the last year of his contract, and he didn't do that in the offseason. He's still got these guys, Garver and Polanco and Urias. And so he didn't do it this offseason. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But
Yeah, but he's going to have, don't you agree, he's going to have to trade one of these pitchers?
Well, go ahead and trade Castillo.
Yeah, but okay, do you think they'd really get anything in return for him? If you ask the other team to take on $72 million?
Has baseball become the NFL? Because the NFL, sometimes you look at these guys and you go, somebody you thought was a decent player and you only got a 5th round pick for him.
But you're asking, I guess I'm just asking this out loud. Maybe I'm wrong. You're asking a team, if you move Castillo, you're not moving Castillo to get a bunch of prospects back. You're moving Castillo because you want the $72 million off the books. So if a contender says, okay, well, we'll take the money, but we're not giving you our top prospect for him. Right? Why would a team do that?
No, I know, but you talked about Castillo being, a trade target for a lot of teams and for many reasons. And Castillo's still, I don't know. What do you think about Luis? You don't think he'd get you much in return just because of his salary?
Well, I just think because of the money he'd be owed. I mean, he's owed so much. He's owed $72 million. I just don't. If I'm a GM of another team that would be inquiring about him, I would say, we are interested. Our ownership will take on the money, but I'm not going to give you I'm not going to give you one of our top 3 or 4 guys for him because I'm taking on all the money. Maybe, if you want to take half of it and then we pay the other half, then we'll give you somebody. So, maybe they can work something out. But to me, it would seem, I'll just throw it back to you. To me, it would seem like if you traded Gilbert or Kirby where they're not making any money, right, because of the arbitration, then you will get a stockpile of talent back.
Yeah, and there's no way they're going to pay all 4 of those guys. Like
They can't.
if we have a pipe dream of 5 years from now having Wu and Miller and Gilbert and Kirby, that's the other thing about the sense of urgency for this year, because this was just such an unusual circumstance to have 5 pitchers, and all of whom could be aces on other teams. Not every other team, but you can make a case for Brian Wu being an ace on 18 or 20 teams in MLB, the way he's pitched this year. So, and that's the biggest. I wrote in the News Tribune about it being the worst season ever, and it's just because of the expectations you had, and then not meeting those expectations, and then squandering that great pitching that you've had. And it's just like you got 5 Felix Hernandezes that are going out there every single night, and Felix probably is watching this going, yeah. I remember what that was like.
Probably laughing his ass off.
Yeah, I would think he probably is. So, no, I can't. I'm just trying to think in Seattle sports history when it comes to curious moves. I don't know if there's anyone that has topped this. I can't imagine other than you. And a few others that thought that Dipoto was going to keep his job, because as I said earlier, I just thought even a team like the Mariners would say, okay, enough is enough, but they don't have it enough, I guess.
It's time for the ownership to go on the barge. We got to ship them all out to the barge.
Yeah. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, it's back.
How'd you get it?
The internet.
Oh, did you have to pay KJR or anything? Didn't they have the ownership rights to that?
They don't have the ownership rights to a fairy horn. If they did, we'd put them on the barge. Hey, River, go on the barge.
Oh, he sees another dog, and of course that dog's on a leash.
Well, of course. Well, have we wrapped up the Mariners? You have hope? They're 4.5 back, 21 to play. Huh? They bringing you back in? You know what's going to happen. You know the storyline. They're going to go on a little bit of a run here, and they'll miss it by 1 game. And he's going to stand up there at the end of the year and have a press conference and talk about, look at us battle. We missed it by 1 game. The future's bright. Next wave of talent's coming.
Okay, do you want them to make the playoffs?
I want them to lose out. And I'm a bad fan.
Thank you. I hesitated to say that because I thought, God, I want him to lose out. I would love to see him go 0-21 the rest of the way.
I'm so pissed off with them and how they've handled everything and what they've done and the fact they're bringing this clown back. I just want them to tank it. And if that's a bad fan, that's fine. We're hypocrites. And if they make the playoffs, then I'll be celebrating. They go on a run, then I'll celebrate. Because we're hypocrites. We're all hypocrites. But yeah.
Really? Okay, Puck, how much fun would it be to go to that? And I'm sick. I acknowledge that I'm a sick person.
If they lose last one of their games.
If we went 0-21 the rest of the way, and then Dipoto and Stanton at the press conference after the season.
Hey, do you really make the right decision by bringing him back? They never won another game after that. Thoughts?
Why wouldn't they just wait to see how this season plays out with Jerry and Dan Wilson? And they should have made Wilson an interim. We should have picked up on that when they made him the permanent manager, that Jerry was sticking around.
That's when I figured it out, though, and talking to Divish. When he brought that up, and I'm like, and then I didn't realize it wasn't until I came back that I didn't realize that he was not the interim, that he was the permanent manager. And then when Divish, we were talking about that, and I was like, and Brad brought it up, I'm like, oh shit, they're going to keep Jerry because they would have just fired him. If they would have just got rid of him.
The new GM comes in, and he's like, well, okay, I got to go with Wilson for a while, I guess.
Yeah.
But, geez, I wish I'd been, the guy in charge who could have hired whoever I wanted, and Dan Wilson might have been on the list. But there probably would have been several other candidates better than Wilson.
Yeah. Well, they're 4.5 back. Ty France hit the game-winning home run last night. Have you seen what Ty France has done here in the last that series? And in
he's controlling the zone in Cincinnati. Puck is what he's doing.
He hit 818 in the series against Houston.
9 for 11.
The last 10 games, he's batting .457. He's slugging .629.
Well, it's a better ballpark to hit in back there.
I know it is. I don't know if you caught it. We'll move on from the Mariners, I promise. But we knew this was going to be a lot of M's today with what happened. I really felt for Brian Wu last night. I watched his press conference in the first 2 minutes of it, and I just felt like the 10-year-old inside Brian Wu wanted to just break down and cry.
Yeah.
And I got real emotional kind of watching that last night because it just made me feel about the Sonics and all that. And here's a guy who grew up less than 5 miles away from that Coliseum. Talked about riding the BART all the time to the games. Would never have tickets. They'd get free tickets. They'd sit there and go play stickball in the parking lot. They'd go in there, run around, get autographs, catch balls. His love of the sport happened inside that stadium. And because the powers that be in Major League Baseball are corrupt, and the powers that be that run that organization are corrupt, kids like him that live in Oakland, it's done. How many kids will not fall in love with that sport anymore because that piece of shit owner ran it into the ground and took away a great franchise from a great city and a great support. I heard people crap on this fan base all the time. That fan base is more passionate than our fan base times 100. All right, it just is. And it's not their fault. Stop blaming them. They didn't do anything wrong. They supported that team, but why would you continue to go play, support it in, 30, 40,000 when your owner shows you no respect and has a complete dump of an organization?
Wouldn't it be great to see T-Mobile look like the Kingdom next year with, 6,000 people showing up?
It should
kind of smatter like what we see at the Oakland games. And you're right, Puck. I mean, that was a good fan base. And then, I go back to the 70s when they had, God, what were they called? But Charlie Finley owned the team, and they were the first ones with the white shoes. And God, all these players coming through there, Joe Rudy, Raleigh Fingers. I mean, they had a dynasty for a while there in Oakland.
Yeah.
And
I just feel bad.
And most of the storylines are about, God, what a crummy stadium. But, a lot of good memories there for a lot of people. And you pointed it out. Shannon Drayer had a really nice piece.
She did a great job. And I think
and Justin Barnes over there
did a great job of putting that together. It's really, really well done. Go check it out on Shannon's Twitter account.
I was listening to the pregame yesterday, and Shannon was getting wistful, about, and most people are like, oh, God, the place is a dump. But a lot of memories there, a lot of history. And
it's probably the same thing about the Kingdom.
That's where Ichiro's throw was, to get Terrence Long at third base.
It's Griffey's first hit.
Griffey's first hit, and that was cool that Ken Griffey Jr. showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, and then we know the feeling, what those A's fans are feeling.
It's awful.
I mean, it's just not, what? God, just think about Oakland, the Raiders going to Las Vegas.
Warriors jump across the water. It's not the same. Not playing in San Francisco downtown on the water is not playing in Oakland. It's very different.
Well, and then Sacramento, what are they going to play in a AAA park that seats like 10,000 or something?
Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel bad, but I think it's very cool, and that he was the winning pitcher for the last game the Mariners ever played there. So, but I could just tell, just hearing him talk and just how like that young person in him, that kid in him, was just so devastated by seeing what's happened to his favorite team. Hey, Dan Wilson, quickly, we're gonna move on. Okay. Hey, Victor Robles, leadoff hitter. Let's just leave him there, huh? I don't know. Weird. It's weird that when he hits leadoff, he, gets hits and gets on base. And maybe J.P. Crawford doesn't need to hit leadoff ever again. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Hey, confirmation. Shout out to Mike Garofolo, who had the story that Geno Smith's people did reach out to the Seattle Seahawks about a contract extension because Geno Smith himself confirmed it yesterday at a press conference. So good job there on Mike Garofolo for having that story back on August 15th.
I think Schneider countered that, though, when he was asked about it last week and said no, that there hadn't been any talks.
But it's the wording and how he did it. He said there was basically no formal talks. We didn't engage in any contract talks with Geno, but that's never what Garofolo said. Garofolo just said that Geno's people reached out to the Seahawks to talk about an extension, and they said, we're not going to talk. It's not going to happen. And then Mike said, well, nothing's imminent, but they did reach out. And then that's exactly what Geno Smith confirmed yesterday. So
you're still breaking news in the podcast variety
Mike
now.
Garofolo. Let's go, Garofolo.
Yeah, you're breaking news.
And he did that from a parking lot of his golf instructor as he was going in for a lesson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'd be breaking precedent if they renegotiated with Geno with 2 years left. But you can see Geno's point, too. And, boy, he looks like he's going to have a big season, though.
And I wonder, again, because I alluded to it many times, wonder how many practices he really had to miss because of that knee injury. Or was he
0?
Or was he just kind of, hey, let's show them what they'll be missing if I'm not here? Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think, pretty much 0.
Because he kind of looks great. You know, that knee never really looked like it ever really, really bothered him out there.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. No,
how about the NFL? It delivers again.
God, I missed the game because I was, working the Jason Aldean concert last night. But
well, we saw the video, for God's sakes. I burned the hat. If you're gonna wear a cowboy hat, let's get a cowboy hat. Not that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. So I had this crazy blue hat on, and it had batteries so you could light it up at night. Okay, this is a quick question. This is a morals question, real quick. So a lady came up to me at the end of the night, and she said, can I give you $20 for that hat? And I said, well, and she goes, I have 4 kids at home and I've got, 3 hats and I want to make sure each kid has a hat. And I said, well, no, I'll just give it to you. That's okay. You can have it. She goes, no, I want to give you $20. I said, no, I don't want the $20. Just, if it'll make your kid happy, here, take it. And then she insisted on giving me the $20 and she said she just got a $180,000 settlement. And I said, well, what was the settlement from? And she said, my dad just died. And so then I went, well, your dad just died. I go, no, I don't want the money. And then she goes, no, I insist. And so I go, what would your dad want me to spend it on? Do you like this story so far?
Yeah,
or do you
I love it.
You want me to wrap it up real fast?
No, it's good. It's a good story. I'm in.
Okay, and she goes, well, you can spend it on anything but alcohol. And so then I just said, I go, my granddaughter's turning 2 in 2 weeks. I'll buy her a birthday present with that $20. And she was elated, and I took the money. Okay, here's my morals question. Should I have taken the $20 or just given her the hat? Even after everything I just told you where I was trying to give it back.
She will clearly, yes, you should have just given her the hat, but she was adamant to give you the money and she didn't seem like she was going to back down. So just take the money.
Yeah.
So
okay,
you're fine.
Now
you didn't really spend the $20.
Can I buy booze for Mikey and Stevie when I get to Pullman with it or no?
Of course you can. And in fact, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're not buying your First of all,
they're underage though.
What kind of cheap grandpa are you? You're spending $20 on your granddaughter?
Well, it's part of the gift package.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
How much in the gift package is Coug related?
I'll probably spend, I don't know, between 100 and 200.
Okay, so you're there in Pullman. You'll be in Pullman tonight, hanging out with Mikey and Stevie. Are they in dorms?
No, they're in apartments.
They're in apartments. So we're gonna booze. We're gonna buy them some booze. Are we hitting the town? We're drinking in the apartment. What are we doing tonight? What's the action tonight in Pullman?
I'm not sure what they have planned.
Okay.
We're just gonna kind of wing it. We're probably gonna go. What's the Mexican place in Pullman?
Rancho Viejo.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Rancho Viejo. Yeah,
get the fajitas. I love a good fajitas there.
I think their IDs work there. That's one of the reasons we're going there.
Get the Mexican flag. It's a great shot. They light it on fire. I think if they still do it.
Oh,
that's
they do?
Great one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
So it delivered last night. God, they missed. I mean, it was an inch. I didn't see. I saw the last 5 minutes of the game, but then caught up with all the highlights and all that stuff. It just seemed like
I had the Ravens in 3. I wanted that inch to be in.
Well, I did the Chiefs -3, so I did not.
And I heard they were going for 2.
I guess that was the story, yeah. But they just put on a show. You know what? It's funny. I think we talk about the NFL way too much, especially year-round. But once the league starts, it is the best reality TV that we have. It just delivers. It just delivers every time, and they deliver one more time. And they have another game in Brazil tonight, which I don't know why they're in Brazil. When you take a bunch of NFL players who are millionaires to a country that's like the 16th highest rate murder rate, they told their players not to leave the hotel. What's the point of going to Brazil if the players can't go around at all? I
don't know, but Goodell said there's going to be 7 games out of the country next year. They're going back to Brazil. They're going. I don't know where all they're going.
They're going to push the envelope on one of these countries, and it's going to be bad.
Did you see the reporters that are covering the game tonight? They can't tweet in Brazil, and so they're having their wives tweet for them.
Why can't they tweet there? I didn't see this.
I don't know. I didn't do a deep dive on that research, but
okay, weird.
So they're relaying their tweets to their wives back home, and the wives are tweeting for them.
Jesus. Hey, real quick, a couple of news and notes before we get to. We got to do a smoking lock of the week. I didn't even do.
We do.
Yeah, and we're gonna do. Hey, what the puck? We got a lot. We got a lot to cover. It's fine. I'll go over some of the games. High school football really gets underway tonight. I caught up this week with Todd Millis. You love Todd. I love Todd. Scorebook Live, WA, SI.com. Again, there are some Todd, John Manley at the News Tribune, Chris Egan, King 5. Those 3 guys. High school sports. No one does it better. And we taped the thing where he revealed the top 10 football rankings, regardless of classification, and he unveiled it on the show, revealed it on the show. I'm just telling you, the knowledge this guy has about all these teams, high school football, is unbelievable. It's unreal. So it's up there, the podcast. It's on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Give it a listen. Give it a watch. Follow him on X, Mini Hats Millis. It gets underway tonight. Bunch of games. Shout out to the Beavers of Ballard taking on Ingram tonight. But he is so good. It's up there right now. Also is our Seahawks preview with Curtis and Tim, the Hawks Nest. And then those guys are back on Monday to recap our roundtable there on Mondays. All right, I just wanted to get that out of the way before we move on. All right, smoking lock of the week against Puck the Picker. Okay. You're not prepared for this, I know.
Well, what am I prepared for?
That's true. Hawks -6 against the Broncos. What do you like?
I'm going to take the Seahawks in that game.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
Given the 6.
That's a good pick.
And mainly it's based on Greg Bell.
Yeah.
I listen to him occasionally in our old time slot. So I guess I'm not that bitter.
I thought you wanted to fail.
Well,
apparently not.
He's the interim guy. Yeah.
Well, how do you know? He might be the permanent guy.
Anyway, he wrote a story in the News Tribune about first games for notable quarterbacks like Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and Bo Nix isn't in that category. But typically a rookie quarterback in his first start, especially on the road, come on. Like Bo Nix, we like Bo Nix. I mean, he's a pretty good player, right? I mean, we saw him at Oregon, but to expect a rookie quarterback to come into an environment like that, I don't like giving the 6, but I don't want the Broncos in 6, so I'll take the Seahawks and lay the points.
Good bet. Love it. Love it. I like the Raiders +3 at the Chargers. Why? Gardner Minshew.
The 31st rated quarterback in the league, according to the Ringer.
Oh, F you, Ringer. Except for when Danny Kelly comes on next week. Cougs -2.5 against Texas Tech. Over, under is 65.5.
That's easily over.
Easily. Run to the kiosk to take the over. Run.
No, but smoking lock of the week, and it's going to sound like a homer pick, probably because it is Cougs. Washington State -2.5.
There you go.
Come on.
Texas Tech sold out all their allotment of tickets. I guess there's a big contingency of Red Raider fans, and they booked out the Valhalla bar. I think tonight.
Oh, I saw they're having some sort of pregame party there.
Or tomorrow, yeah. Huskies -25 against Eastern Michigan. I'm going to take Eastern Michigan in 25.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, because I want to. Eastern Michigan.
Because you want Washington to lose every week. We're kind of torn on Washington this year, though, aren't we? Like, I kind of want Washington to do well.
Yeah, so fish to Florida.
Yeah. So they got to win these games. So I hope they win this week.
Here's another one I like. I'm taking Boise State +21.5 at Oregon.
God, that opened at 17 or something like that. It's up to 21.5.
The Broncos running back, that guy's like one of the best running backs in the country.
They have a good history against Oregon, too.
Yeah. And then the game tonight, Eagles -2.5 against the Packers. They're in Brazil. I'll take the Packers. Give me the Packers +2.5. I like it. All right.
All right, I'll take the Packers in 2.5 for $20.
Okay, hold on. I got to write it down.
All right.
So I like the Packers.
Oh, I love Jordan Love.
Yeah, but I want the Packers at +2.5.
Well, I thought you said you're taking the Eagles.
No.
I don't know. My AirPods are running out of juice, and I can't hear anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know what?
Bring the thing in for a landing anyway.
I'll do the Eagles -2.5. For how much did you say?
We're 55 minutes into this. I got to get back on the road. The
I know.
dogs
I'm
are bored.
I'm sorry.
Still 5.5 hours away.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were driving. I didn't know you were
care
driving.
About me. I care more about you than you care about me.
Listen to me. That's not true. Stop saying that. I got to set this. You are gonna love this thing I'm gonna play for you. It's just I can't wait to play this.
You want the Mariners to go 0-21 the rest of the way.
I do. Because I hate them so much right now.
I do too.
Hey, What the Puck is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com. North Seattle. Jim, we love Troy Wins, okay? And he'll be back with us next week. But I think I have found my new favorite sports handicapper online. Her name is Taylor Mathis. She goes by T Math Sports, and she will be making an appearance every single week on this show.
What?
I mean, well, no, but I'm just going to play her every single week on this show.
Oh, I can't even believe I am saying this. Happy 2024 NFL season. I can imagine you guys are excited because I'm very excited. And this is our first edition of the NFL Walking Bets. So let's get to it. And we are starting off strong with the Ravens +3. You look at Jim
really
Harbaugh,
missing out on this.
Man, he's got a record of 25-12 straight up as a dog during the regular season when the Ravens are catching 3 points or more. And then you go to Lamar Jackson against the spread as a quarterback, as a dog in the regular season. He is 12-1-1. That is the best record of any quarterback during the Super Bowl era. We know what happened in the AFC Championship game last year. The Ravens didn't run the ball.
What do you think there of Taylor Mathis at T Math Sports? Listener on Apple and Spotify, you're like, it was just a woman talking about sports betting. Apple, Spotify, audio listeners, go to YouTube and watch the video. It is a very attractive female who is what's the right it's just a very nice bosom, breasts, walking,
big tits, okay,
big tits, walking around, giving her pics with her tits just flopping all over the place.
Do you think that was part of the plan, was to have her walking so that they'd be juggling along there? I mean, hey, Puck, come on. Like, I'm all for pretty women and, nice breasts.
Oh, you don't like that?
Huh?
You didn't like that?
Oh, no. I enjoyed it. I think it'd be a good part, to have every week. Yeah, you're going to do that every week? Have Taylor Mathis? She missed her pick, too. She did miss her pick.
Against a Chiefs defense that struggles in stopping the run. They ranked 26th last season in yards per carried allowed. We need to see the Ravens run the ball more. You've got the NFL's best rushing quarterback, and now you've got King Henry, who should be good to go.
Oh, yeah.
I think
once a week she'll make a visit.
The way she talks kind of reminds me of a local reporter that does the post-game route interviews with Mitch. Mitch, what were you seeing there on that pitch? Sorry. Sorry. I know that when you don't say anything, when you don't say anything after I say something, that I've gone too far.
It's bad. Yeah. Well, we've gone too long. Far. Well, and we've gone way too long. We can't be doing this next week. We can't be going this long. All right.
But she's no Aaron Dolan. Aaron Dolan.
Oh,
I mean,
we love Aaron
on.
Dolan. Yeah. All right,
Aaron
Daily
Dolan
Puck
puts that Taylor Mathis in a popcorn popper.
Okay, the Daily Puck Drop in the books Friday, September 6th. Have fun in Pullman. We're gonna see you on Monday. Please don't be late. It's going live. Can I have everything ready and
When am
in
I
store?
ever late?
That's true. You usually are on time.
I don't have to commute in Seattle traffic, so I think
That's
I'll be
true.
on time.
There he is, Jim Moore, the go-to guy. We'll see you on Monday. The Daily Puck Drop will be going live at 10 a.m. on X, YouTube, and so please join us. Be along for the ride. Big thanks to everyone that's been along the ride here for the last 5-6 months. We're going live starting on Monday, recapping the Seahawks game. Curtis Crabtree will join us. Also, Tim Booth will join us there as well on our Hawks Nest Roundtable. You'll hear from Jim Duquette as well. We'll get haven't talked to him in a few weeks. We'll get his thoughts there on all the moves that the Mariners made. Coming up later, Chris Egan will join us. That episode being released at 1 o'clock. Ryan Divish's emergency podcast from last night is up right now. If you want to get his initial thoughts on the story that he and Adam Jude broke late last night there on Thursday. We'll talk to you later. As always, we promise to be better.
No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!